Yogis, hi, welcome to another practice. Today is a mixed level class. All you will need is one block, and the firmer the block, the better it's going to be for this practice. So we're going to get started on our backs. You don't need the block to begin with, so you can have it off anywhere out of the way. And as usual, once you come onto your back, take any little wriggles or movements. Maybe a yawn or a big sigh. And always it's nice just to give yourself a couple of moments here. Depending on how your day's been or what time it is that you're practicing, you might find that you need to move a little bit more. And then as and when you feel ready to come into stillness, make your way into supported rest pose, so your knees will be bent. Feet about as wide as the mat. You can play around with that. And the knees knock in towards one another. Do whatever feels comfortable with your arms. And then let's go ahead and inhale through the nose. And an open mouth exhale. And again, like that, inhale. And exhale. Close your mouth, breathe in through your nose. And breathe out through your nose. Again, inhale deeply through the nose. Maybe this time sipping in a little bit more air at the top. And exhaling through your nose. Really trying to clear out all of the air. Inhale through your nose. Sip in a little bit more air at the top and then pause, hold. Exhale through your nose, get rid of everything in the lungs. Pause at the bottom. We'll continue to breathe like this. If you feel comfortable, you're expanding the breath even more, maybe pausing for a little bit longer at the top and at the bottom. And just notice what effect, if any, this kind of breathing is having on your body. And that could be something kind of on a physical level. Maybe it's something a little bit deeper. And at any point in the practice, you can come back to this breath work, particularly that little pause at the top and the bottom. We'll take one more round of breath together. Go ahead and extend your legs out in front of you. Reach the arms back if they're not already. Take a full body stretch as you reach from end to end. Hug your right knee into your chest. Give it a nice big squeeze. And you can circle out through the right ankle a few times. Maybe point and flex the foot. And then we'll take this into the twist, drawing the knee over to the left, right arm out to the right. Early days, so it doesn't have to be a super deep twist. And if you'd prefer, you could have the left knee bent as well and the knees together, stacked. And try to come back to that nice deep breathing, equal counts on the inhale and the exhale. Allowing your right shoulder blade to get heavy. 2 more breaths here. Come all the way back through center. Re-extend your right leg. Hug your left knee in. Give it a nice big squeeze. Circle out through the ankle a few times. Point and flex the foot. And we'll draw that leg over to the right. Left arm out to the left. Make any little adjustments that you need here. And particularly if you're feeling tight in the upper back, or if this twist feels a little restrictive, try to really work with your breath to ease yourself into the stretch. So rather than fighting against the breath, use those exhales to help you soften, to help you let go. And we'll come all the way back through center. Give both knees a nice big squeeze. Hug them in. Press the lower back down into the mat. And then you'll place the sole of your left foot down. So a couple of different ways to do this. We're going to stretch out through the back of the right leg into the hamstrings. So for some of you, you might be a little tighter. You could interlace the hands behind your right thigh and then just straighten and bend the right leg a few times, just starting to feel that stretch. If you have a little more length available to you, feel free to take peace fingers around the big toe. You could also extend the left leg. So particularly if you are on the tighter side, it might be nice to add in movement here. Like I said, you could bend and straighten the leg. You can continue to circle out through the ankle, maybe even spin the toes out and then spin them in. So don't feel like just because we're practicing yoga that you have to be static or still the whole time. Just last couple of breaths on this side, not spending a ton of time here. And simply change sides. So I'm taking some movement by bending and straightening the left leg. Circling out. Maybe you'd like to extend the right leg long. So you want to find somewhere where you're feeling some stretch, but that you can still breathe. So, if hamstrings tend to be a little bit of a harder area for you to work into, it's common to kind of hold the breath and then you're starting to fight against yourself. So make sure you're somewhere that you can still find that really deep breathing that we cultivated at the beginning of practice. Last couple of breaths on this side. And then hug both knees back into your chest once again. From here, keep your knees bent, draw them all the way together, and then stack your knees on top of your hips. Press your lower back all the way down into the mat. So the biggest thing that's going to happen in this little exercise is that your knees are going to want to pull in. Don't let that happen. Really keep them stacked right on the hips. Interlace your hands back behind your head. Again, keep pressing the lower back down. And then you're going to peel head, chest, and shoulders up away from the mat.
So rather than pulling on the neck to like shift forwards, think more of lifting the gaze up so that the back of the neck is long. Now, either stay here pressing the lower back down, or if you want more, you'll keep both knees bent and you're just going to tap the right heel to the mat and then lift it back up. Tap and lift. So notice that my left leg isn't pulling in here. It's staying really stationary, staying stacked on top of the left hip. And then to get more out of this, you're curling the chest up. So both shoulder blades are lifted away from the mat. Let's go for 5. 4, you're probably starting to feel some heat now. 4, 3. Don't forget to breathe. 2. Last one, tap it down, lift back up, and then lower everything to the floor. Inhale through your nose. Open mouth, exhale. All right, setting back up. Press the lower back down. Curl head, chest, and shoulders up. Remember, if this is too much, you're just staying here. You're still doing plenty of work. If you're adding on, just tapping the left heel down and lifting. Tap and lift. Think of really trying to flatten the belly so the navel draws back towards the spine. Get both shoulder blades lifted away from the mat. Yeah, I'm definitely starting to feel that heat build. Let's go for 5. 4, keep that right leg in check. 3, 2, last one, tap and lift, and then lower everything down. Inhale through your nose. Open mouth, exhale. Last round here. Set yourself back up. I'm going to peel head, chest, and shoulders up. So you're either going to alternate which foot taps down, or if you want to make it harder, you're going to tap both heels down, lift back up. Now, if you're taking this option of tapping both heels, make sure your lower back doesn't arch away from the mat, right? So you want to be really honest. Press the lower back down. It's burning. Let's go for 5. 4, draw the navel back. I lost count. Let's go 3. 2. Last one, tap and lift, and then release everything down. Ay, ay, ay. You can either hug the knees in. Personally, I like to reach the legs back out, the arms back, and stretch the belly. When you're ready, hug your knees in. We're going to make our way to tabletop position. So you can rock and roll, maybe roll to one side, and then we'll come to hands and knees. So this is similar to child's pose, but not quite all the way into child's pose. Pull the hips back about halfway. Walk the hands out, but don't let your head come to the mat. So the head's gonna stay hovering. And then I want you to try and squeeze your hands and knees towards one another. And you know when you're doing this because, or you're doing it properly, because you'll start to really feel some shaking, some action happening through the sides of the body. So you're energetically squeezing the hands back towards the knees to the hands. Shift back into your tabletop position. You'll tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Pedal out through the feet if you need. Do all the little things that you need to do here. Remember that you're constantly collecting information as you move through this practice. So you make little adjustments along the way. Do you need to take hands wider, feet wider? Do you need to bend your knees more? How's your breath? We'll shift into high plank position.
From here, lower down onto your forearms, forearm plank. Now let's begin by placing the knees down. We're going to revisit this a few times throughout practice, so we'll do the first one with the knees down. It's a little bit funky. We're basically taking our cat-cows here, but we're not going to get the hips involved. So we're just trying to work the upper back. So on an inhale, think of pulling the chest forwards like you would for cow pose. And as you exhale, think rounding through the upper back and even look towards your navel, look back towards your knees, right? Inhale through cow. Exhale back through cat. And then continue to breathe and move. So be careful that your hips aren't doing the majority of the movement. Like they will move a little bit, but they shouldn't be sinking and overly piking. And you will feel this again into the belly. Now the next time you come through your cat-like position, keep that position in the upper back. You're going to lift the knees up. Keep that cat-like position. Walk your feet towards your elbows. You're finding dolphin pose. Press the floor away from you. Try to lift out of your underarms. Keep thinking of that little bit of cat in the upper back. Knees can be bent a little or a lot. Breathe 3, 2, last one. Walk your feet all the way back. We'll find forearm plank. Lower your hips to the mat, Sphinx pose. And then take a couple of gentle neck rolls. Maybe you need to open and close your mouth a few times, let go of any tension in the jaw. Bring your forehead all the way down. Take your hands wider for fingertip cobras. Inhale, peel the chest up. Press down through the tops of the feet so the kneecaps lift. And release. 2 more. Inhale, peel up. And release. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Downward facing dog. Walk your feet all the way to your hands. We're going to hang out here in a forward fold. So bend the knees as much as you need. You might want to circle out through the wrists. Maybe you're taking ragdoll. Really let your head be heavy, your neck long. Bend the knees, even if you don't think you need to. Pull the navel back towards your spine and then begin to roll yourself all the way up to standing. At the top, roll your shoulders back and down. And gather your hands into prayer and allow your eyes to close. Perhaps setting an intention for your practice. Inhale deeply. Open mouth, exhale. Release your arms and allow your eyes to open. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Big stretch, reach up, maybe even lift the gaze up. Exhale, bend the knees, Uttanasana, fold. Inhale as you lengthen halfway. Strong belly, strong legs, pull the chest forwards. Step back, plank position. We're going to lower down onto the right forearm and then lower onto the left forearm. You'll bring your right hand back down, your left hand back up so that you're in your plank position. Bend your elbows, lower through chaturanga and all the way to your belly. Low cobra, inhale, peel the chest up, lift the kneecaps, pull the chest forwards and release, downward facing dog. If you like, you can push back up into plank, pull the hips up and back. Lift your right leg. Keep the hips square here. So the best way to tell if you're doing that is to have all 5 of your right toes facing towards the floor. Pull up through the belly. Then you're going to bend the right knee and squeeze your heel to your butt a lot.
Inhale, lift that right knee a little higher. Exhale, knee to nose round. Shift the weight further forwards. Inhale, extend up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, think plank position. One more, inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to nose, step right foot to right thumb, left foot to left thumb. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Rise to stand, reach up. Hands to prayer. Again, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Back to plank position. This time, left forearm down first, then the right forearm. Left hand back up, right hand up, plank position. Lower chaturanga to your belly. Inhale, cobra pose. Maybe it's starting to get a little bit deeper. And release, downward facing dog. Maybe you add in the push-up plank, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg. Keep your hips square. Drive that left heel back. Pull up through the belly and the ribs. And then bend the left knee. Squeeze your heel to your butt. Lift the knee a little higher. Exhale, knee to nose. Shift further forwards than you think. Inhale, extend. Knee to nose, pull it in. The last one, inhale. And exhale. Step left foot to left thumb, right foot to right thumb. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Rise to stand, reach up. Hands to prayer. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. You've got the whole breath to get there. Inhale, lengthen. Step back, plank position. Right forearm down. Left forearm down. Right hand, left hand, plank position. Lower chaturanga. If you're ready, upward facing dog, pull the chest forwards. Take it back, downward facing dog. Lift the right leg. Again, add in that hamstring curl, heel to butt. Take a breath in. Exhale, knee to nose, drive it forwards. Two more. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to nose. Last one, inhale. Exhale, knee to nose, round the upper back. Step right foot forwards, left foot forwards. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Rise to stand, reach up. Hands to prayer. Last round, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Take it back, plank position. Left forearm down. Right forearm. Left hand. Right hand. Lower chaturanga. Inhale, back bend. Downward facing dog. Lift the left leg. Add in the hamstring curl. Take a breath here. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, pull it in. Last one, inhale. And exhale, keep your arms straight. Step the left foot forwards, the right foot forwards. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Rise to stand, reach up. Hands to prayer. If you have curly hair, you might catch it in your earring. Okay, so we're just gonna do one round of Surya A. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold, let it go. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step or float back through your vinyasa. Remember, you can add things in, you can take things out. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Couple of smooth breaths here. Bend your knees, inhale, look forward, step or float to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen.
Exhale, fold. Rise to stand, reach up. Hands to prayer. Setting up for chair pose. Feet as wide or as narrow as you like for this first chair. Bend the knees, sit the hips back and down. When you're ready, reach the arms up. A couple of breaths to get into your chair position. How do your legs feel today? Particularly your quads, right? Maybe even the glutes as you pull the hips back. And then keep everything in the lower body the same. You're just gonna bend your elbows, cactus the arms. Inhale, open the chest, think cow pose. Exhale, round the upper back, think cat. 2 more, inhale and exhale. Last one, inhale and exhale. Regular chair pose, reach your arms up. You're gonna sit all the way back down. All right, so this is where you're gonna need your block. You might wanna watch this first round that I'm doing. So I'm gonna use the block on its tallest setting, but its wide setting. So not the skinny way, but the wide way. And in a moment, what you're gonna do is lie down, so you might just wanna watch this first round. The block goes back behind you and you're gonna hold it in between your hands and hug the elbows in. Right, so the block stays down the whole time. You're driving it down into the mat behind you. And then you start with the knees bent. You're gonna press the lower back down. And as you do that, you're gonna curl your knees up towards the block. And slowly with control, lower back down. So the first couple of rounds, you might need to use a little bit of momentum in order for your body to kind of get used to the movement. But then you really want to slow this down and you'll feel this kind of really deep crunch work, right? And remember that the way out, the way down is just as important as coming up, right? So get yourself in position, hug the elbows in, squeeze that block, and then you're going to round up. And slowly lower all the way back down. You can tap the toes before you lift back. So think about this like if you were in a gym environment and you were lying on one of those benches holding the bench behind you with your hands. So try not to let the elbows go wide. Keep hugging them in. Pull the navel in. And if you're like, wow, Jess, this is kind of tough. I know, just do the best that you can. Will your hips up off the floor. Let's do 3 more. If you're feeling strong, maybe you're starting to do this with straight legs. Keep hugging those elbows in. Believe we have 1 more. And once you're done with that one, you can move the block off to the side and hug your knees to your chest. So you want to make yourself into a little ball once again. Use that to help you rock and roll up and down the length of your spine. We're going to meet back in chair pose. You'll take a breath here. Exhale, fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, step or float. Vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Lift your right leg. Bend the knee, add in that hamstring curl. This time though, you'll open up through the hip. Try to keep your underarms square to the mat. Take another full breath in. Exhale, knee to nose. Step right foot to right thumb. High lunge, crescent pose. Come on up. So we're not spending a ton of time today focusing on the lower body. So just find a nice stable crescent lunge. From here, you'll wrap your right arm underneath your left, eagle wrap. Round through the upper back, so you're spreading the shoulder blades, pushing the forearms away from you. And then inhale, lift your elbows up. Exhale, tap elbows to your right knee. 2 more, inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Regular high lunge. Inhale, reach your arms back up. Open up a warrior two. So change up the feet. Allow this left hip to roll forwards. And then once you've got your stance, you're going to take the arms up, hold opposite elbows. Now, as you do that, make sure this doesn't happen, right? And if that's happening, draw the elbows back out in front of you until you can hug the ribs in. Maybe closing your eyes. Try to drop back into that breath. Re-extend your arms, straighten through the front leg. Inhale, reach forwards, Trikonasana, right hand down. You could also use a block here. Reach the left arm up. So again, this left hip is going to roll forwards a little. Draw this right hip back and find space between your right hip and your right rib. So you're lengthening here. Option to stay, or if you want, drape the left arm behind you, and as you do, you're internally rotating the shoulder, bringing the back of your left hand in between the shoulder blades. Now use that to roll the left shoulder back, and then stay there or reach your right arm forwards. Scoop your right ribs to the left. If you're reaching this right arm forwards, stay active through the fingers. Strong legs, rise all the way up. Re-extend the left arm out. Spin the right toes in, hands to your hips. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, fold. Hands underneath the face. You're gonna lift up halfway and then reach your right arm up. Now, I don't mind if that right hip lifts a little, particularly if you have any lower back discomfort, but you want to try and hug the outer hips in so that you're working to open the chest, to open into the upper back more. Release the right hand down, reach the left arm up. Again, maybe that left hip will lift a little, particularly at the beginning, and then see if you can pull it back down. Strong legs, energizing through the feet as you hug them in towards one another. Release the left hand down. Walk both hands to your right foot. Spin all 10 toes to the front. We're going to step straight back to plank position. Lower the right forearm down. The left forearm down. Now you can drop the knees here if you need. We're going to add in our cat-cows. So as you inhale, pull the chest forwards. Exhale, think cat pose through the upper back. Look towards your feet. Squeeze your butt. Inhale. And exhale, cat-like position. Press the floor away from you. Again, inhale through your cow. Exhale, cat. Press the floor away. Keep this position. Walk your feet in, dolphin pose. Knees can be bent. They don't have to be in as close as mine are. Think of hollowing out through the underarms. Spread the shoulder blades. Stay here or reach the right leg up. You can bend the knee and squeeze your heel to your butt.
Breathe. 3, 2. Last one. Re-extend your leg, place the right foot down, walk all the way back out, forearm plank. Lower the hips. Untuck your toes, swim the arms back behind you, interlace your fingers. Inhale, lift the chest up, Shalabhasana. Maybe you're lifting the legs. Stretch out through the front of the chest, the shoulders. And release, downward facing dog. Maybe take an exhale through the mouth if you need. We'll lift the left leg. Bend the knee, add in the hamstring curl. This time, open up through the hips. Try to lift your right forearm away from the mat. Press your chest back towards your right thigh. Exhale, knee to nose. Step the left foot forwards, high lunge position. Remember, we're not spending a ton of time focusing on the legs, so just find a steady, sturdy lunge. You'll wrap your left arm underneath your right. Spread the shoulder blades. Inhale, lift the elbows up. Exhale, tap elbows to left knee. Inhale as you lift. Exhale, round, pull the belly in. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Regular high lunge. Inhale, reach the arms up. Open up a warrior 2. Allow that right hip to roll in. And then we're going to take the arms up, hold opposite elbows. Make sure you have your awkward forearm on top this time. So be careful that the butt's not swinging out. You're not doing this. So just lengthen the tailbone down. Contain everything through the midline. Re-extend your arms, straighten through the front leg. Inhale, reach forwards, Trikonasana. Left hand down, reach the right arm up. Take a moment to make sure that you're happy with the lower body. And then if you're adding on, you're draping the right arm behind you. You're internally rotating at the head of the shoulder to bring the back of the right hand in between the shoulder blades. Now use that to roll the right shoulder back. Stay here or reach the left arm forwards. Strong legs, rise all the way up. Re-extend the right arm out. You're going to turn the left toes in, hands to your hips. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, fold. This time, walk your hands away from your body, right? So it's like you're in a short, wide, downward facing dog. Press down through the left hand. Thread your right hand to your left foot, shin or thigh. Twist. So a couple of things to look out for here. Make sure you're not sinking into the left shoulder. You're still really pressing the floor away from you. And at the same time, particularly if you're open through the backs of the legs, make sure you're not just pushing your hips back, but you're kind of sending some of the weight a little further forwards in the feet. And we'll change sides. Right hand down, thread the left hand through. Don't sink into the right shoulder. Keep your inner feet, your inner thighs hugging in.
Go ahead and release the left hand. Walk your hands back in and then walk them to your left foot. Spin all 10 toes to the front. We'll step back, plank position. Lower the left forearm down, then the right forearm down. Last time like this, our cat-cows in forearm plank. As you inhale, pull the chest forwards. Exhale, round the upper back.
Look towards your feet, squeeze your butt.
Inhale. And exhale.
Keep pressing the floor away from you. One more. Inhale.
And exhale.
Keep this cat-like spine. Walk the feet in. Find dolphin pose. Don't let your head come to the floor. Think of spreading through the shoulder blades. Stay here or reach the left leg up. And you can bend the knee, squeeze your heel to your butt. Pull the ribs in. 4, 3, 2, last one. Re-extend the left leg, place the foot down, walk your feet all the way back to forearm plank, lower your hips, sphinx pose. Untuck the toes, wrap your arms back behind you, interlace your fingers, other thumb on top. Lift the chest up, maybe the legs lift as well. So this is such a beautiful way to counter all of that cat-like work that we're doing in the upper back. And release with control. You're gonna push back to a kneeling position. Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and grab your block. And again, you're gonna hold it like we did for that core work. So on its tallest but widest setting. And you're gonna stab it down into the floor, right? So you're holding it with your palms, you're pressing it down into the floor. We're gonna come up into dolphin pose from here, but we're gonna place the back of our head against the block. So your head's not touching the floor, but the back of the head is gonna be on the block. And this is just gonna really help continue to build strength in the shoulders and in the upper body, right? So when you're ready, set yourself up, walk in, press the back of the head, so you're keeping the neck long. And you're just using the feedback of the block here to keep you a little more honest. Make sure that your elbows are no wider than your shoulders. Keep the head lifted off the mat. Think of hollowing out through your underarms, like someone came along with an ice cream scoop, which is gonna scoop out through the underarms. Think of that little cat-like action in the upper back. Last couple of breaths. Lower your knees down, take a child's pose. You could wrap your arms back alongside you to release your shoulders. Smooth breath. Come back to your intention or whatever it is that brought you to the mat today. Maybe it's a desire to be stronger, to be more flexible, to perhaps be more connected, whatever it might be. Come back to that now. Downward facing dog. Let's inhale through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. Lift the right leg. Bend the knee, hamstring curl.
knee to nose, step right foot to right thumb. We're gonna come up onto the fingertips here. Start to sink through the hips. Now as you inhale, pull the chest forwards like you would for cow pose. Maybe the back knee touches down. And as you exhale, straighten through both legs, think pyramid pose. 2 more, bend the knee, inhale. And exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale, hold and breathe here in pyramid pose. Now for those of you who want an extra challenge, spin your fingers around to face the back edge of your mat and walk the hands as far back as you can. You'll be on your fingertips here. Now you need to push your hips back, but round through the upper back. And then you're gonna hamstring curl your left heel to your butt. Humble flamingo. Not for everyone, but a fun little trick if you wanna try. And then we'll all meet in pyramid pose. Go ahead and ground that back foot down like you were in more of a warrior one stance. Lift the torso halfway. Left hand to the inside of your right foot. Some of you will slide it to the outside. Reach the right arm up. Twisted triangle, Parivrtta Trikonasana. Stabilize through the hips to open through the chest. Try to extend through the crown of the head. Now really drive down through the big toe mound of your right foot and stand all the way up. Cool. You're gonna take your arms behind you, hold opposite elbows. Into warrior 3 from here. So weight into the right foot. Start to lift the left leg. Drive the left heel back. So you can press your spine back into your arms a little. Maybe the right knee is bent a little. That's totally fine. From here, we're going to find standing splits. Maybe you keep the arms bound back behind you as the chest folds over your right thigh. Lift the left leg up and back. And at the very end, both hands come to the mat. Left foot will be in line with the right foot, Malasana. Take the feet as wide as you need. Bend the knees. Hands come into prayer. So use a block if you need underneath your sitting bones. I'm going to start just in a more traditional kind of Malasana. If you want, sway side to side. Stretch out through your ankles, your calf muscles. So a lot of this sequence, I've been kind of building up towards headstand 1, Sirsasana 1. Now, regardless of whether you ever want to come into headstand 1 or if you ever feel comfortable to do that or not, it doesn't matter, it's not the end goal, but that's where we've been going with this sequence. So the next thing that we're gonna do is the option to come into Bakasana, crow pose. And the reason why this is a nice segue into headstand 1 is you really need to round the upper back, so it's that same kind of action. And you're also gonna add in a hamstring curl, which for some people they forget about, that it's important in crow pose. So either stay in your Malasana for another couple of breaths. If you're coming into crow, you can walk the feet in. So we're gonna think taking the weight further forwards, rounding the upper back, hamstring curl one foot, maybe both feet in towards the butt. Really round, really draw the belly in. Keep squeezing heels to butt. Wherever you are, hold 3, 2, 1. You can take it back through a vinyasa. We're gonna meet in downward facing dog. Left side, lift the left leg, bend the knee, hamstring curl. Knee to nose, step left foot to left thumb, come up onto your fingertips. As you inhale, sink through the hips, look forwards, maybe the right knee taps down. Exhale, straighten through both legs and fold. 2 more, bend the knee, inhale. And exhale. Last one. And we're gonna hold and breathe in pyramid. If you want that fun little party trick, spin the fingers around to face the back of the mat, walk them back. So the weight stays back here. It's not a standing splits. You gotta pull the belly in, do all the things we've been doing, and then squeeze your right heel to your butt. And it might be that you're just kind of playing around with hovering that right foot, maybe lifting and lowering. And then we'll all meet in pyramid pose with that right foot grounded down. So just adjust the stance if you need. Your right hand either to the inside or the outside of the left foot, and then reach the left arm up. So you want to drive down through the big toe mound of the left foot, and that's going to be what helps you to stand all the way up. Take your arms behind you. We're going to hold opposite elbows. Try to change up that grip again. And then we're finding warrior 3. Weight into the left leg. Send the right heel back. Ooh, find your balance. And remember, you can always bring your hands to the floor as you move into standing splits, or you can fold your chest over your left leg. I like to bend my knee a little bit as I come down so that I'm not hyperextending. And at the last moment, hands come down to the floor. Malasana again, feet in line. Bend the knees. Sit the butt back. This time, take your right hand to your left ankle or shin or whatever it is that you can grab a hold of. Reach the left arm up and over, stretch out. And lift back up. Left hand to your right ankle or shin. Reach the right arm up and over. Come back through a malasana. So you've got your bakasana again if you want to try it out. Otherwise, 3 more breaths in malasana. So even if you're not lifting the feet up in bakasana, you could still come into this position and just start to see what it might feel like, right? So don't feel like, you have to perfectly do a pose in order to practice it. You're just practicing. So like here, I'm just lifting one foot, lowering it down, then the other. And then let's all meet back in downward facing dog. Take an inhale through your nose. Open mouth, exhale. Come down onto your knees and your shins. So here's the deal. If you're tired, if your upper body has had enough, because I know it's been a lot, you're going to go to the wall, take your legs up the wall, give yourself time to invert in that more restorative way. If you're like, no, I want to keep working, you've got that dolphin work that we've already done. Maybe in this dolphin work, you then try to lift one leg, lower it down, lift the other leg, lower it down. If you have headstand 1 as part of your practice, or that's something that you're working towards, remember, you're obviously not in the same room as a teacher, unless you live with one or you are one, so please do be careful, be mindful. So as I said, this whole practice has been building up into the entry into Sirsasana 1. So if you think back to this little core drill that we did, this round, that's kind of the entrance that you take for headstand 1. Absolutely no kicking up ever. That's kind of where injuries happen. So basic setup, and again, this doesn't always work all the time for everyone, but basic setup would be to come onto all fours, hold opposite elbows, and then release your hands, interlace them. Now your elbows don't go any wider than this, right? No wider. And then you're opening the hands so it's more like this. So rather than staying in a fist, it's opening up, becoming a basket. And that's where the back of your head goes. So even if you've never done headstand 1, you might be comfortable to do this setup just to start to feel how it feels in your body.
Right, so head down. Back of the head pressing into the hands. So from here, all I'm gonna do is tuck the toes and lift the hips. So we're pretty much in that dolphin position, but instead of holding a block, we don't have it now, but the back of the head is pressing into the hands and the crown of the head is very lightly on the floor. You could stay here. So if I just show you, notice the difference if I'm collapsing through my upper back. You'll see that my neck starts to be compromised. That's why my voice is funny. And I have lost all the strength in my shoulders. So you want to keep rounding the upper back, spreading the shoulder blades. And then from here, again, maybe lift off isn't happening, but you can just start to do this action. Squeeze one heel to your butt. Lower down, squeeze the other heel to your butt. Lower down. If it feels natural, you feel comfortable, you can curl up, straighten the legs up. Those of you a little more advanced, if you've got the straight legs, try piking down. You can tap, pike back up. So again, like I said, no kicking up into headstand ever. That's a very bad idea. You want this to be slow and controlled, all in the core, all in the shoulders. So right now I have very, very, very little pressure in my head. And in fact, often when I'm practicing this, my head is slightly off the floor, right? So that I know that, I'm not going to cause any injury to my neck. For those of you, like I said, who are a little bit more advanced, maybe you pause the video here and play around a little bit more. For everyone else, we'll take a child's pose. Let go of what did or didn't happen. And even though it can be exciting to get a new pose or for the first time to come into it, it's more about the process, about learning why your body does what it does, about learning the unique aspects of your body, what makes something challenging to you or what makes something easy to you. So be comforted by the fact that you don't ever need to do headstand in order to be a great yogi, to be a advanced yogi. Let that go. All right, we're gonna stretch out the hips. So I'm gonna take half pigeon, right shin forwards. If you prefer to do this on the back, you'll lie down with the right shin over, or the right ankle over the left thigh. I'm sure you guys are all very familiar with this. I'm just going to take about 5 breaths. Maybe you close your eyes. Maybe you're able to drop back into that breath work from the beginning of practice. And change sides. If you need to go back through down dog and shake it out, that's always an option, or you could just simply change sides. It doesn't have to be a well choreographed move. Since we're
at the end of practice, you might find that it's a little easier to drop into that breath work now that you've moved your body, gotten rid of the cobwebs. So if you feel comfortable doing so, you could start to expand the pauses. We're all going to meet on our backs. So when you're ready, you can swing that right leg forwards and come to lie down. So we're going to finish with a twist. Now, I like to sometimes move in my twist. So you could either do a regular supine twist like we did at the beginning, or otherwise you can take your arms out, palms down, bend your knees, and then you can just twist side to side. And if you wish to linger for a bit on one side, go for it. Sometimes, again, I like this little movement. I'm kind of able to sometimes crack my lower back or just get rid of any kind of remaining tension. Make sure you're changing sides if you're in a static twist. And then as and when you feel ready, once you're even on both sides, you can hug the knees into your chest. Take any final symmetrical finishing pose. It could be happy baby. It could be Supta Baddha Konasana or just a squeeze of the knees in. And it's no surprise that Shavasana is next. When you feel ready to move into your final resting pose, begin to make your way there. Set yourself up with any props that you might need. Otherwise, this is where I leave you guys. I would really love to hear what you thought of this practice. If you have any questions about headstand, make sure that you reach out. I always love to hear from you. Otherwise, thank you for joining. Namaste.